morning, I'm Gillian Bowen. Welcome to the Morning Report for Monday, the 3rd of August. This week will continue to be dominated by corporate earnings, with a number of major Australian and US companies reporting their latest financial results. And it wouldn't be a Monday without a war update. Late on Saturday, US time, the US president posted on social media that Iran and other Middle Eastern countries had asked for time to complete a deal that would lead to, quote, the immediate, complete and total reopening of the Strait of Hormuz and, quote, an end to Iran's nuclear threat. So despite being locked and loaded, as Donald Trump has described it, he's cancelled his fresh attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. And there are two pieces of breaking news this morning. Donald Trump, a short time ago, told reporters that new Iran talks would begin on Monday afternoon. And the other is on the oil price. Brent has slumped 6.7% at the open this morning following these developments. And on that, in regards to investors and what they're keeping an eye on, the ASX is poised to open lower, with index futures down 1% when they were last trading. But look, that was before the developments out of the Middle East. As for the ASX 200 on Friday, our share market closed up just 0.1% to 8,977. The top performers on Friday were 4D Medical, which gained more than 13%, and Megaport, which was up more than 11%. The biggest decliners were Champion Iron, down almost 6%, and Domino's Pizza, which was down more than 5%. But our share market did have its best week since April, and the month of July did end on Friday, so the team is preparing our month in review video, which you'll be able to find on our YouTube channel right here, CommSec TV, and our socials this week. Turning to commodity markets, to recap global oil prices at the end of last week, they ended July with their biggest monthly gains since March. Brent futures settled up more than $1 or 1.2% to $90.12 US a barrel. Brent was up 24% in July. Base metal prices, so copper and aluminium futures, they were flat. And if we take a look at gold, and gold futures settled down 1.3% to $4,107 US an ounce. This drop follows a rebound in the US dollar from a more than 1 month low that it hit in the previous session. Iron ore futures settled lower to $95.06 US a tonne. If we have a look at currencies, the euro is at 1.1551 US dollars. The Japanese yen is at 157.47 Japanese yen, and the Aussie dollar is buying 70.41 US cents. If we head to Wall Street, the Dow Jones index finished up 0.5%. The S&P 500 was 0.7% higher, and the Nasdaq gained 1%. So if we take a step back to Friday US time, Wall Street ended the trading day higher. It was lifted by tech heavyweight Amazon, which surged more than 15%. The company had a strong quarterly report, which then lifted investor confidence in AI-related stocks. Amazon's quarterly revenue growth is its biggest in over 4 years. Microsoft rose 3%. And this was after surging more than 15% on Thursday in its biggest one-day percentage gain since 2008, after it forecast stronger than expected cloud growth. Apple shares, however, dropped more than 7% after a disappointing forecast on component shortages. The iPhone maker has warned that supply constraints would hurt growth. Domain registrar GoDaddy dropped almost 17% after narrowing its annual revenue forecast. And I love a good stat. On Friday, volume on US exchanges was heavy, with 20.6 billion shares traded, compared to an average of 17.1 billion shares over the previous 20 sessions. And seeing the month ended on Friday, here's some more context. For the week, the S&P 500 rose 1.1% and the Nasdaq added 1.6%. On a monthly basis, the S&P 500 ended July about flat from June, while the Nasdaq fell 3.2%. But both indexes are up about 9% in 2026. If we move on to US government bond yields, US 10-year Treasury yields at one point reached their highest since January 2025. Now, this followed 3 US Fed Reserve policymakers who had dissented in favour of a rate hike in last week's meeting, making their case publicly on Friday for higher rates. So to recap, the US 10-year Treasury yield added 6 points to 4.72%, while the US 2-year Treasury yield added 3 points to 4.26%. If we have a look at the European markets, the continent-wide FTSE Euro First 300 index ended down 0.1%, and the UK FTSE 100 closed down 0.3%. So the FTSE 100 registered weekly and monthly gains despite a dip on Friday, off the back of robust earnings which helped the market through a week of central bank decisions and Middle East hostilities. Heavyweight energy stocks added almost 2%, as Brent crude futures climbed above $90 a barrel at the end of last week. Okay, so if we talk you through what we've got on our watch list in Australia, earnings season is ramping up with Pinnacle on Wednesday, REA on Thursday, and ResMed and James Hardie on Friday. For a comprehensive list on our August reporting season calendar, it's now available on the market news section of the CommSec website. On the economic front, the Melbourne Institute inflation gauge for July is out today, and we've got ANZ job ads tomorrow, as well as household spending. In the US, company results are also the focus, with more than a quarter of the S&P 500 due to post results. We've got Palantir today, SpaceX and Caterpillar tomorrow, and drug maker Eli Lilly, as well as SanDisk on Wednesday. And that's it for today. For further developments on the local trading session, please tune in to the CommSec Market Update podcast this afternoon, and of course, the Market Close video. Have a great day.